It's a vibrant Monday morning from the studios of Upgrade TV. Welcome to Waste Breakfast. Hashtag what are you saying? My name is Omotoshola Sharimake. It's a beautiful Monday morning, as I mentioned earlier. We are still in the heat of the, I don't know if I should use ongoing or just concluded on-guard protest. And you know, it's a Monday morning. You're back to work because I'm very sure Thursday and Friday you either worked from home or you didn't go to work at all. It's a fresh Monday morning, the beginning of the new week, and I hope you're ready to face the hustle and bustle of the new week. With me this morning is one and only God's Beauty Israel. Good morning to you. Glad to have you on the show.
And how are you?
I'm doing pretty well.
I love the way you're looking this
Oh
morning.
gosh,
It's
stop
the
it.
nails for me though.
Stop it. Stop it. When you look, when you're well rested, I think it's a very good sign of healthy living. I had a pretty good weekend. I
Okay.
mean, it was a bit stressful as well because I feel like I have to clean, I have to do my laundry. Yeah, outsource some of them, do some of them. I think I feel a bit relaxed, and on the other side, I'm also unhappy about something. But then over 10, I'm
I'm
6.
happy. Do you want to share it?
Oh, so you care?
I
Tell
don't
me,
understand. Of
your
course I
smile
do
is
care
so
about
vibrant
people.
this morning. I don't know what's going on. You smile so good. You look so radiant. And then yellow. Everybody say yellow.
Yellow.
What's going on?
I mean, nothing from my end. I think it's just, I had a very, I don't know, I think it was interesting at some point, yeah, because I was in the church actually, in and out of the church, yeah. I had, let me just say I had a more intimate connection with God, so I
lovely.
needed that space, yeah. Then what else? Nothing more, except the fact that, okay, I also used my weekend to also read Damilare Kuko's new book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think that was it for me. It wasn't that big of a thing, nah. And like, okay, I think I also had like one or two like semi-jobs that I had to like take care of, yeah. I thought that was just how my weekend went,
Well
literally.
done.
Thank
I
you.
mean, now of our time. If you are here to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, click the subscribe button now, like and share to family and friends. Today we'll be discussing hunger protests and the call for electoral reforms. And we will be joined later by youth representatives and a politician to dissect this conversation. Right about now, we'll be taking a quick break to return with our headlines across the globe. Please be on standby. I'll be back shortly. Glad to have you back. Now let's move. Let's take a look at the news of the pages of today's newspaper in and outside Nigeria. Today we have the Punch newspaper and the New York Times. And I'll be starting the details from our home country, Nigeria, where we have the Punch newspaper. Of course, and obviously, the major headline of the Punch newspaper will be nothing short of the hunger protest, which says, Tinubu's speech attracts knocks and kudos from people. Right under it, Soyinka, PDP slam president's address. Then another story here says NGOs order hail its protest, hails the speech. Protest organizers demand 1,150 detainees released. And at the top corner of the Punch newspaper, retail investors may shun bank stock as shareholders lose 1.6 trillion naira. This is coming from Cardoso, the CBN governor. Then beside it, marketers stop for supply queues resurface. And beside it, public debt may hit 130 trillion naira by December. This is a report released by Edu. And at the bottom corner of the Punch newspaper, JAM gives tertiary institution ultimatum to disclose illegal admissions. And in the middle side, NDLEA arrests 12 with drug hidden in baby food tins. And finally, on the pages of the Punch newspaper, hardship states get 570 billion naira grant. And of course, the story that piqued my interest are two, but we'll not be talking about the hunger protest because our guest will be joining us later to help us talk about it from our own view. I'll be talking about the marketers' stop for supply as queue resurfaces in some parts of Lagos. Oil marketers have explained that the reappearance of queues at filling stations in many states is because of the halt in the supply of petroleum products by dealers in a bid to avert losing their assets due to the ongoing nationwide protest. Many states and Nigerians, including the FCT, witnessed varying degrees of queues about 2 weeks ago, which the NNPCL blamed on a hit in the discharge operations of a couple of vessels. And let me not go too much in details. For more details, go to the pages of the Punch newspaper to read and understand the story. So what happened here is, I think the reason why I'm picking the story is because I had a similar experience yesterday night.
Okay.
When I was trying to move from point A to point B, yes, because of the distance, it's never able to. Okay, I sound like I have a car, right?
Go on, my
Okay,
love.
so I was trying to move from point A to point B, so I have someone that comes to pick me up and we move. So I called this person. This person said, "Oh, at the moment he's at the fuel station trying to queue for focus. All through the day he was unable to get full. No problem. Just let me know as event unfold." He called me, but I called him back around like 1 hour later. I said he's still on the queue, but right now he's scared they will lock the filling station gate. Now, it has been a major problem because when I was going to church yesterday, major filling stations in my area, there was a long queue. And you know, when there is long queue in major tiny roads of Lagos, there will either be traffic or congestion on that road.
Yes.
There's a long queue. There's no petrol at some petrol stations. And why they had, there's a very long queue. And don't forget, they're sadly around 6:30, some 6:80,
Yeah.
some 7:30. And it's appalling. So whatever the thing is, they should start delivering petrol. Then, I don't want to talk about the president's speech yet because I'm trying to keep the cat in the bag so we can talk about it later. But whatever it is, we just finished hunger protest. I don't know if today we have a continuation of the hunger protest.
I'm sure
but since the
there is,
president
actually.
already talked about it yesterday, I would appreciate if things can go back to normal. Yes, things are already getting hard. Let's not make it harder. That's it for me. Please take us through the New York Times.
All right, so the New York newspaper, let's start out the newspaper reads, looted goods flood market in Gaza streets. Power vacuum in war fuels lawlessness. And the right side has, Trump paints his opponent as an other. Middle of the newspaper reads, scientists want to block sunlight to cool earth. Beneath that, we have for Ukrainians on home front, many are facing a love crisis. All right, next to that, which is the last headline on the newspaper read, contestant said it was chaos vein for Mr. Bid's $5 million US. All right, the headline I want to quickly touch on is the headline that says Trump paints his opponent as an author. All right, Donald J. Trump has been challenging Kamala Harris' racial identity, suggesting she's not a true representative of Americans. This tactic, which aims to present opponents as other or untrustworthy, has been used in American politics for a long time, but has become more prominent and aggressive under Trump. Historically, using tactics are more subtle, but Trump has made it a central part of his campaign, using race and gender to undermine his opponent. This method of othering, making someone seem foreign or alien, has been used before, including against Barack Obama, but Trump's approach is more direct and intense. This strategy is part of a broader pattern in politics, which significant changes or challenges to the status quo prompting heightened attempts to discredit his opponent through personal and identity-based attacks. So, I mean, this is quite interesting because Trump is just doing everything within his power to make sure that people start seeing Harris to be probably unworthy of the seat, you know, running for office as the president in U.S. So he's just trying his possible best to make sure that he sees her come down. So it shows that he's actually threatened by her, you know,
yes,
yeah. Because, I mean, we've not yet, although I feel like they are both in the same page right now when it comes to followership and all of that, yeah. But the fact that he's not doing everything to make sure, I mean, just last week, Friday, we had this conversation where he was trying as much as possible to put it to people that this person you are seeing is actually from the Asians as well. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? So even though you are seen as a black, but she's not really a black, like a black woman completely. Even though Camilla has come out to say that I'm a black woman, you guys should see me for who I am. I would do well to represent you people and all of that. But he's just trying everything to make sure that people start seeing her as probably untrustworthy and all of that. But I mean, fingers crossed, like I would say, let's see what really happens and who eventually becomes the president. Because honestly, right now, I think I'm just eager and I'm just anticipating because the way these things are going, Trump is not taking it easy, honestly.
And that's it on the foreign scene of our headlines across the globe. Now we are taking a quick break to return with our guests and to have the conversation around the hunger protest. Please be on standby. I'll be back shortly. You're welcome back to the show. Glad to have you back. As mentioned earlier, we will be discussing hunger protests and the call for electoral reforms. Since August 1st, demonstrators have been rallying across major cities in Nigeria, including Lagos, Port Harcourt, Benin City, Kano, Yobe, Majiguri, Abuja, among others, demanding relief from the soaring inflation rate and the reversal of full subsidy removals. Despite appeals from authorities and religious leaders to end the protest, crowds continue to swell, driven by frustrations over the devaluation of the naira and the rising cost of living. As these demonstrators continue, we will explore the adverse effects on both the economy and the daily lives of Nigerians and seek to understand the broader implication of this widespread unrest. Joining us to have this conversation is Senator Olafare Comfort, she is the Deputy Chairman, National Youth Council of Nigeria and YCN, Lagos State Chapter. Good morning to you. Glad to have you on the show.
Good morning to you and good morning to everyone watching this across the globe.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning. How was your weekend? Quickly before we go into the very serious conversation.
My weekend was fine. Actually, it was stressful, trying to represent the people, trying to do this and that for the youth. So it was quite exhausting. But then it's what we've signed for and we just have to keep up with it.
Interesting. I love the fact that you mentioned that your weekend was short because you've been trying to represent the interest of the youth. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave a speech yesterday about the ongoing protests, and it was a proposed live broadcast in which people said, oh, this thing leaked yesterday. Oh, we noticed some jump cuts, but let's not even go into that. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave a speech yesterday about the ongoing protests, or do I say the protest that has been called off by the president. I'd like to ask you, as a youth leader, what is your general assessment of the current ongoing protests in Nigeria and the main grievances of the protesters? What do you think about this?
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for this opportunity. So basically, I'd like to say that first, having a protest is not something that should be a big deal, in the sense that, people see protest as a way of expressing their feelings, as a way of expressing what is going on, and they are not happy with it, they are not in support of it. So protest generally, it's not something bad as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it's just for people to voice their opinion, just for the citizen to let the president or the governor know that what is going on, we are not pleased with it and we want a change. However, peaceful protest is of utmost importance, because you'd agree with me. Let's look at the saga of EndSARS. Look at what happened afterwards. Destroy of properties, lives, and all other things which happened at that time. You would agree with me that the damages that were caused then, we still haven't gotten over it now, because we lost a lot of properties. We lost lives, and we are complaining about the economy, and we are still destroying things that have to do with our economy, meaning that we still have to go back to fix those things. And that makes it highly harmful, because what we are supposed to use pushing forward for the growth of our country is still what we are using to repair or reconstruct what has been damaged due to protests. As far as I'm concerned, protest is a good thing, but then peaceful protest and dialogue. Take a look at it. This hunger protest ongoing, they have destroyed a lot of things in some certain part of this country. And I'm like, why? We're actually coming out to say that, okay, there's the economy is hard on us as a people, and then we want the government to look into it and ensure that there are ways to have it upgraded, have it convenient and suitable for our citizens. However, we are still going to destroy the ones we are trying to manage, we are trying to build on, we are trying to ensure that it's large enough and it's enough for people to sustain and live as a means of livelihood, and yet we are still destroying. Now, behind every protest is always what a response from the government, because you'd agree with me that it has affected us economically. As far as I'm concerned, yesterday, I was just everywhere trying to search online, trying to read newspaper from different news house, and I realized that a lot of things have been destroyed. And then I begin to ask myself, I trust the governor and the president, they should respond to this. And thankfully, the president addressed the country, and he stated in his address, because I took my time, I listened to it carefully, and I did my analysis. Because as a youth representative, you need to be out there and be informed about things happening to address your fellow youth. So I listened to it, I watched the video, and I realized that the president is concerned. He has heard the protest. He has heard what people wanted from the protest, and he said something which I would like to emphasize on. He talked about dialogue. He said, okay, he has heard of everything being said. However, he's imploring the citizens, the youth, Nigerians, to come for dialogue. Let's dialogue, that they are already working on ensuring that the state of the economy is being looked into. However, he is imploring them not to continue with this protest, because protest and you are destroying properties, it has economic effect on the country and even individuals, even the social effect. Imagine a lot of people could not move, they could not go to work, they could not go out freely, because they are trying to be careful about the harm that comes from, passing through where the protest is going on. And I haven't seen how things were being destroyed and everything. And also, I read yesterday, before I slept too, I read about the response of the governor of Lagos State, who said that he now has representatives for dialogue, Ministry of Youth and 2 other ministries. And even their contacts were on the broadcast that, okay, is calling for peaceful dialogue. So you can reach out to the number for Ministry of Youth, you can reach out to the number for Ministry of two other ministries. You can reach out to them so that we can dialogue and harmonize our thoughts. So I think with that, the protest is a success. Only that I am not pleased with the bad effect on us as a country and as a people. But then I must say that, of course, we want the government to be aware of things we are going through and what we lack. And thankfully, the president has responded, same as the governor. However, what do we do to things that have been damaged? We are still going back to it. And that is why, as a country, as a people, we need to understand that our actions would actually have effect, either positively or negatively. And that's why we have to be more concerned about whatever we do. We have to be concerned about ourselves, about others, and about the state of the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comfort. Thank you for explaining to us what you were able to perceive from the I don't know the right word to use. I don't know if I should use ongoing hunger protest or just concluded hunger protest. Okay, let me just use the word hunger protest, right? Thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. Although I have a question from what you said earlier about what the president said in the live speech, but let God's beauty shoot short.
Okay, so I mean, thank God that you emphasized on the whole dialogue thing, because I wanted to ask, how is that supposed to work out? How is it supposed to be like? So now I want to hear your perspective on generally now the whole the address that President Tinubu helped us with yesterday. Now there was also this perspective of people saying that before the protest we were waiting for him to address the nation. If he has come out to say, oh, I've heard you people, right? And instead of him probably delegating the authority to other people to say it on his behalf, people were of the opinion that if he has come out to say that, okay, we hear you and all of those things, and we'll put these things, we'll start implementing, the problems of Nigeria, like the hunger now. We'll try everything possible to make sure that all these things that you're complaining about, we put it into effective use and make sure that it works out well, right? Now, it's after the damages has been done. I also heard on, I think, one of the social media platforms where someone said that, I mean, look at other states where protest was done. Protest was done here in Lagos, and there was no casualties, there was no killing, there was no loss of life, there was no loss of properties and all of these things. But look at the northerners. Almost all the states in the north. Should I start from Kano down to Kaduna, down to Katsina, down to Jigawa, down to Borno, and the rest of the states. Yobe, God bless you, and down to the rest of the states, yeah? So they're not more, people are of the opinion that, are you sure that the government doesn't have a hand in all of these things? Since there was already a background warning that, okay, they have been warning us and be telling us that there's no need for you to come out to this protest and all of those things. I would like to hear your opinion on that. And also, I think I already said I would like to hear your overview on the address from the president. Now, speaking to this dialogue, like I said, how do you think it should work? I hear you when you say that the governor of Lagos State has probably put in ministries that we as youth can reach out to. How about other states? Now, let's talk about the federal, because the truth is, not everybody is educated to understand that we have the local governments and we are supposed to meet the local government for everything that we need here. Every time that something goes wrong, we look at the presidency. We forget that we have the state, we have the local. So I want you to expatiate on all of these things I've stated now.
All right, thank you so much for that wonderful question. I'm actually interested in it. Okay, to start with, one thing we need to understand is that there is what we call hierarchy. And then it is important for us as the people to understand that the president cannot just come directly when there is a governor. And let me use Lagos State as an example. Okay, prior to the protests, the governor of Lagos State, he assigned the task to his commissioners and to some ministries to go address the youth, even down to the local government level. I can tell you for free that in Igbogoba Eco LCDA in Ikorodu, the chairman of Igbogoba Eco LCDA, he reached out to youth bodies in Igbogo to address them as regard the protest. As a matter of fact, even the commissioner of police, he visited the 5 divisions in Lagos State. I was in the meeting, and it wasn't just a closed door meeting, it was an open door meeting whereby stakeholders in the community were invited, like in Ikorodu, stakeholders down to the market women, down to NERTW, down to the youth bodies, down to everybody, down to the royal fathers. down to everybody in the community, all the necessary stakeholders in the community were all invited to have a dialogue to discuss that, okay, and like the Commissioner of Police said, we are not saying that it's not your right to protest. However, we are pleading with you to ensure that it's a peaceful protest and then we dialogue. So he came down to Ikorodu, he went to Ekpe, he went to Badagry, he went across the 5 divisions in Lagos State to address them. That's for the Commissioner of Police. Even the Commissioner for Youth also did the same thing. He invited youth stakeholders. He met with different bodies to dialogue with them, to emphasize that, okay, I'm not asking you not to protest because it's your right. However, I'm telling you that if we are protesting, we should be mindful of our economy. We should be mindful of not making it harmful to people. We should be mindful of what happened during the ENSA saga, so we don't go back to it. Now, this is what I'm trying to say in the case of Mr. President not coming to address prior to this protest. He asked governors. He has related with the governors. He has related with them. So the governors are meant to go back to their states and do what is necessary, just like the governor of Lagos State did. Yeah, he did that, and that was what made the whole protest in Lagos State to be a very calm one, at which properties were not destroyed and lives were not lost. So that was what happened in the case of Lagos State. So now to your question, that why didn't the president address crowd? The president had delegated the duty to the governors of each state. So it is expected of each of the governors to go back to their state and ensure that they are home, because the government, you agree with me that the president has 32 states and FCT.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a lot. So he cannot come down. This is just like division of labor. And even when he related with the governors, you could see that the governor of Lagos State related with the chairman, and the chairman took it up. They took it up. So that is how it's meant to be, because it is division of labor. That is why we have representatives at local level, state level, and the federal level.
Thank you very much, Senator.
So to me, I think that was reasonable enough for me.
Lovely.
And you talked about the address of the president. I listened to it, and
please, let's not go there yet, please. I'm so sorry. Let's not go there yet. I want us to talk about something. You mentioned that the president rather has 36 state governors and FCT minister, which is Nyesom Wike. And you said the reason why we didn't have the protest go south in Lagos was because of the speech by the Lagos State governor, which he has rolled out palliative. He has spoken to 1 or 2 persons. The youth commissioner has gone out. The chairman of different local governments have also gone out. Now, a media colleague said something on social media space yesterday. He said, since the past 1 year in office of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has not for once granted media briefing, press meeting. You notice that Nyesom Wike and press are like 5 and 6. He's always granted press. You will see TVC there and other sister agencies. You will see them there speaking to issues that are very important. You said the president cannot just come out and just say things. The initiative, the mantle or the slogan for his campaign was Renewed Hope Initiative. Yeah. And if we call something Renewed Hope Initiative, it means that, okay, we might have hope, but you're renewing our hope, you're renewing our strength. Why is it that things went from good to worse? I'm so sorry to use that word, but things went from good to worse. And our president still did not come to address us. When he came to address us, we've seen everything our president wanted to say a night before it. How would you talk about this? Do you address this as a normal thing? Or, because I really did not still get that part. Because take us through what you think about it.
Okay, thank you. I could see that you are so much interested, because even the way you were rolling out the question, and I could read from your eyes the passion and everything.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. That's, the honest truth is that him not granting interviews and not being out there in the media space is because of the workload he has in his head. Now, I'm not speaking for him, but I'm talking from experience, because having represented youth and just representing the youth alone, not to talk of representing the whole 36 states and FCT. So now you're talking about going from bad to worse. the honest truth is that Rome was not built in a day, and whatever will be good will take a lot of time. Will take time, will take input, will take resources. We take a lot, a whole lot. Since he assumed office and he has put in is a member of his cabinet, the ministers and the SA, the SSA, you would also realize that he's been trying to meet with international bodies, organizations, and partners across the globe to ensure that Nigeria is better. Because we need to understand that there are a lot of things out there that need to be fixed. You could see our dollar rate rising and falling and everything. He's trying to, because before he came on board, he has promises that he has made to the people that it's gonna be a renewed hope. I'm going to renew your hope. I'm going to ensure that everyone is at peace and things work well for everyone. But you would as well agree with me that this cannot happen just overnight. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take processes. It's gonna take consistency and effort. So not having the president come out to address is not to say that he's not concerned about us. And that is why you will always see, if he's not coming out to address us, his aide will definitely come out to address us. Because, of course, you will agree with me that you find Ajuri almost everywhere. Because he knows his responsibility, that is to represent the president. While the president is busy trying to sort things out strategically, he has to be there to represent the face and the interest of the president, communicate the intention of the president to the people. So not having anyone to address at all would have been the worst case scenario. However, he wasn't there to address the people, but then he has representatives. So I think another thing we need to understand as people is that if I am not coming out to represent, I'm not coming out to address the press because of the responsibilities you've given to me, which I am trying to ensure that I carry it out effectively and I work on it and ensure that the country moves forward. I must have someone who is there. I think we need to start seeing that when the president is not around and his chief of staff is around to address us, let's also see it as the president to be there. Because the chief of staff will never say anything out of what the president has asked him to do. So when he came out to address us, as regards the protest, I said, no, this is amazing. Like, I'm really impressed. And before he came to address, there was a storyline. The headline says, "Do not pity me. I signed for this." And that was the word of the president. So amazing. Like, he knows what he has signed for. And the need for him to do it. So that's just it from my end.
Before I
hope I've been able to address it.
Before I let God's Beauty speak, the first line of the president was, "I speak to you today with a heavy heart and a sense of responsibility, aware of the turmoil and violent protests unleashed in some parts of our state. Notably among the presidents were young Nigerians who deserved a better and more progressive country where their dreams, hope, and personal aspiration would be fulfilled." For those that didn't catch the President Live broadcast yesterday, please go to our YouTube channel. It's there. You would watch it there. I would love to ask you, Godspeed, just a minute, please. I would love to ask you. The president said a whole lot of things yesterday. I watched this broadcast. My part, I said broadcast rather. I watched this broadcast and there was no way forward. There was no pronouncements. There was no, okay, now, the day our president was inaugurated into office, he called off subsidy immediately. There was the pronouncements, there was the decrees, there was the speech. Okay, fuel subsidy be removed. I remember that day there was the fuel stations closed their filling stations. There was back and forth. We didn't see fuel to ban, all of that. All through what the president said, let's say for 30 minutes, there was not one word that's okay. Yes, price of bag of rice should go back to 50,000. And the cost of this thing, what he said was, "Oh, I've removed import duties," which he has said before. Okay, yes, I'll dish out these things to farmers, which he has said before. everything that we wanted during this protest, that people clamored for, the seven lined up reason why people actually came out to protest, it didn't address any. It didn't say, okay, now that I've listened to you, don't worry, rice will go down, this will go down, petrol price will go back to, even if it's not 200, maybe 300, or maybe even 500, maybe even 450. It didn't talk about the independence probe of the electoral budget. It didn't talk about how it's going to combat insecurity and hunger. It's as good as the president just addressed us because we wanted to see him on TV, not because he wanted to address the protest itself, the problems itself, and it's begging for many questions. Why did he address us?
Okay, thank you very much. And you know, I mentioned in their dialogue, if you could recollect that the president talked about that. So dialogue in this sense, it simply means that, come, let's discuss. Okay. Let me show you the look of things. Let me let you know the situation of things on ground. Now you talk to me. What do you want? Now let's look at it together. How can it work? That's the essence of dialogue. You know, people are protesting, hunger protests, and they are just coming on TV to say that this removed, this removed, this removed. What if those things are not even all the things those who are protesting would like to discuss about? What if there are more pressing issues they want to talk about? And that's the place of dialogue. That's why it's important. And let me tell you this, I sincerely do not appreciate having faceless protests. Why faceless protests in the first place? You are protesting, you have genuine reason to protest. And even the Constitution backs it up that, you know, you have your rights. So if you are protesting and then let it be known that you are protesting, you don't have to target faceless protests. You don't have to be faceless about it. Come out. Now the governor is interested in let's dialogue. The president is interested in let's dialogue. Let's take all of these things to the round table and discuss about it. Sir, this is what we want. This is what we want. This that you said, you know, it's not going that way. We want it better than this. This, we don't want it. And all of those things. And then we reach a conclusion. And then there will be a communique about our dialogue. And it will be out there, and we have time frame for all of this. When we want it to work, when we expect it to start, you know, start working, when we want it to come to fulfillment, when we want it, the deadline, that's the best word. Yes, the deadline for this, the deadline for this. You'd agree with me that by the time we have all of those things in place, then we can hold the president accountable. We can say, oh, Mr. President, we've had, you know, because when you dialogue, after the dialogue, you have a communique, you have a press release to inform the public that we've dialogued on this, and this is what we have requested of the president, and this was our resolution, and we have this time frame for our resolution. We need to be strategic about what we do. It's not just about the noise. It's not just about going out there to say no. No. Now that the youth and the fellow Nigerians have protested and there's room for dialogue, let's go in with our paper and Bible. Let's go on the round table. Let's discuss what we want. Let's discuss what we are not pleased with. At displeasure, let's register it. Now let's reach a conclusion. Let's set deadline. When should we look forward to seeing all of these things take place? What time? What frame? What time frame rather? When should we expect it? So by the time we have all of this on board, it makes it more genuine. And that is why I'm interested more in the dialogue part of it. Yes, let's dialogue. Let's know what we want. Let's tell them what we want. Let's tell them how we want it. Let them explain to us our constraints. Let's see how we can work it, how we can fix it and be represented out there. And then let's share it out to the public. Let the public be aware of what is happening. By so doing, you'd agree with me that we'll achieve a lot more than just having the protest and calling it faceless.
Thank you very much, Senator. We have to go on a quick break. When we return, we are going to talk about that time frame that you mentioned earlier. You said the workload on the president is a lot. Then you also said, let's give him time. 1 year down, 3 or 7 years more to go. How much more time do we need to give him? What do we need to do while we are trying to wait? Like in the meantime, as we're waiting for the president, as we're waiting for the workloads to reduce, as we're waiting for things to get better, what do we need to do in the meantime? We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we open our phone lines and let me know what you think about this topic. We are still speaking to the call for electoral reforms amidst the ongoing hunger protest. Please be on standby. glad to have you back on the show. You're still on to Waste Breakfast, hashtag what are you saying? And we are still having the conversation around the hunger protest. Now we'll open our phone lines for you to call in to let us know your thoughts about it and also ask questions, because we are speaking with a youth leader in person of Senator Olafare Comfort. She has been talking back and forth since morning about what we need to do. I do not mean to insult you. I beg your pardon. I mean, you've been explaining to us and explaining to us that we need dialogue when it comes to what the president said yesterday. I'd like to pass it on to God's beauty about what she has to say about it.
Okay, so okay, I hear you when you say that the president has workloads and all of these things, but I mean that's the job of a president. Yeah, I feel like when you're going into a particular office, you should know what is expected of you. Now, I hear you also when you talk about the whole dialogue thing, how you have extensively explained to us the need for it. But how come you didn't know about this before he went into office? Yeah, because that's what it's looking like. Now, it's a year down and there's no significant progress, right? If I can say so myself rather. Now look at fuel price, look at hunger, look at all of these things that are going on. It doesn't look like there's a headway. It doesn't look like there's a road, right? So I hear you when you say that we need dialogue and all of that. Now let's go back to the broadcast we had, we actually saw yesterday. Now, like you've not answered that question when I said I would like to hear your perspective on what you think about the general overview of Tinubu's address here. Then when I was watching that that broadcast and all of that, I heard him when he said that we cannot use or make temporary solutions for long-term problems that we have. Now, how do we strike a balance? Because I get him when he says that, but at the same time, there's hunger in the land. There's a whole lot of things that need to be taken care of. So how long, like she said, how long do we have to wait for us to start seeing that the product or the positivity of we having a leader, we having a president? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because like I said, I understand him when he said we cannot start looking for patch to make sure that whatever problems we are having now is solved. We have to make sure that whatever solution that we are bringing into the table is something that can take us for a long time. But now, how do we balance it?
All right, thank you very much. To start with, you said we can't really fix our eyes to the major achievement of Mr. President in one year, for his 1 year in office, rather. Okay, you'd agree with me that during his 1 year in office, he was able to boost agriculture and food security. Yeah.
How, please? What statistic shows that? Sorry.
Yes. That's just what I'm about to give you now.
Okay.
He gave additional 42,000 metric tons of assorted grains, including sorghum, millet, maize from the National Strategic Grain Reserve, and 60,000 metric tons of rice through millers were released to vulnerable Nigerians through the 36 states in the country. So what am I trying to say? Because I actually saw, I don't know, yes, because it was distributed through the senators, House of Reps member, and then share across all farmers in their community, to share across. So those that have to do with fertilizers to help farmers, grow and then become more successful and increase in their food supply and production. They were given fertilizers. And I have evidence of this, and I can even share pictures and videos of this, because the senator representing Lagos State Senatorial District, that Senator Tokunbo Abiru, he shared this to farmers across Lagos State Senatorial District. And not only that, rather, this person too, the member House of Rep for Ikorodu Federal Constituency, that's Honorable Babajimi Benson, he also shared across Ikorodu Federal Constituency to members, agriculture, to farmers in that community too. So what am I trying to say in essence is that, I don't know, but most times when you are in government and when you are in governance, people, because we are expecting more, We are like Oliver Twist, who always wants more.
Ask more.
We don't always. What do you say?
I said ask more. No, speaking to Oliver Twist stuff you just said now.
Exactly, yes. Always asking for more. So that makes us most times or sometimes not to really look into what has been done. We want more. Like, we have our expectations. That's the honest truth. As a people, we have our expectations. And because we have our expectations, we are always ready to, we want more. So whatever you must have done that has not gotten to our level of expectation, we believe that you've actually not done anything. We want you to do more. We want to see more of it. And that's the issue there.
Okay, so I don't...
also, yes. Okay, let me listen to you first.
Okay, I just want to just add into what you just said now. When you said expectations, I don't think it's really expectations. I think it's probably because the government has not really addressed whatever that we think is really affecting us. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because, I mean, earlier this year, there was a whole lot of farmers from the north complaining bitterly on how there was insecurity. I mean, was it last month or so where we had a guest that was speaking on how would, if you're a farmer now, you have a farm, you would have to pay for you to be able to cultivate. You have to pay for you to, for everything that has to do with your farm, you're paying for it. So I don't know, when you say expectations, is it really expectations, or is it that our problems are not really solved? Do you understand what I'm saying?
In addition to what she has said.
Yes, I get your point. Okay.
Okay, I'm so sorry. In addition, so you just answered again, like, our time is gradually going to an end. So in addition to what she said...
I'm enjoying this conversation.
Thank you. I love the fact that you're engaging us as well. You said expectations. We are like Oliver Twist, always asking for more. Are you trying to invalidate the cry for hunger of Nigerians? Or are you trying to say there is no hunger in the land?
No.
Okay.
I think something is missing. There's a disconnection now.
Okay.
And due to the feedback I'm getting from you, it's like something is missing, and I'd like to quickly fix it up.
Please do.
Okay, please
So
connect
this
us.
is it. I'm not saying that. Of course, we are meant to expect more from him. We are meant to have our expectations. The essence of expectation is that, I'm giving you, just like I'm voting for you, I expect you to do this, I expect you to do this. Those are my expectations. I wouldn't vote for you if I don't have expectations about what you're going to do when you get there. I don't know if you're getting my point.
Yes, I do.
So that does not make our expectations invalid. As a matter of fact, we should have our expectations. It's just like you want to get married to someone. So why do you want to get married to that person amongst every other person?
I love the example.
Every other people, rather, every other person is yeah. Why do you want to get married to that particular person? Because you have expectations. Or would you just say you want to get married to someone without expectations? Do you get my point? Are you getting it now?
Yes.
I'm trying to fix that. So it's not wrong to have expectations. As a matter of fact, if we do not have expectations, it means that we are not genuine for this country. We don't have genuine interest of this country as us. Have I been able to fix that part of the expectation?
But in a situation where our expectations has been shattered, how do we address that?
And that is the essence of dialogue. You see, I don't know, maybe because I have tried to understand firmly what dialogue really means. Because the essence of dialogue is trying to say that we have expectations, we are expecting so from you, and you've not even done it. You are not representing us well. We want you to do this and that. That's the essence of dialogue. So me using dialogue is not to say that, we just want
sorry,
to
please. I'm so sorry to cut into your thought. We have Osage on the line. Good morning to you. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm calling from Benin.
Thank you very much for joining us.
So I'm watching your program. So I just wanted to chip in something on whether the senator she was saying. Can I?
Yes, please,
sure.
Go ahead.
Okay. She said that we are having an expectation, and she made mention of Oliver Twist. I want to ask the question: if we're not having an expectation that he was going to do all that he promised, would we have voted for him? Or what about the senators that their salaries are skyrocketing? Why, where other people are suffering from levies like taxes? Can't they bring those senators' salaries down?
Thank you very much for calling. Senator, I think you heard what he said. Can you speak to that?
Okay, you talked about senators, because I
Salaries,
missed that on the
yes,
last.
and
Yes,
different
yes.
levels.
Okay. That why do we have such increase?
Oh no, he said, why are we having expectations if not because of the, I think 700 or 800 pages of campaign promises that our president dished out to us.
Yeah.
So he's saying that you are telling us to have expectations, not to have too much expectations. But the salaries of our senators are going up by the day. The allocations, wardrobe allowance, car allowance, petrol allowance are going up by the day. So how do you want let me say they, because I'm a part of Nigerians, how do you now want them not to have expectations when the salaries of senators are going up by the day?
And it doesn't look like
Okay, I
the
think he also
manifestos are
missed.
even followed.
I think he also missed my point. I did say that we shouldn't have high expectations. I am just saying that our expectations have not been met. Are we clear on that?
Yes.
So I'm not of the opinion that we shouldn't have expectations. As I have expectations. That's the honest truth. I have expectations from the president, I have from the governor. I have my expectations, and that's how it's meant to be across board. So everybody is expected to have his or her own expectations. Now speaking to, we have senators increasing, we have wardrobe allowance increasing, and everything increasing. And you'd agree with me to that. As much as their fees are being increased, their money have been increased, it also tells on their representatives. It also tells in their constituency. Take for instance, my own constituency, I am Ikorodu. My constituency is blessed because our representative from the Lagos East Central representative to the to the House of Member representatives, they are doing fantastically well in Ikorodu. Like they are representing us well. You know, they help in fixing roads. We have an innovation lab, tech lab that has trained over 1,000 youth in Lagos East Senatorial District. And then 100 of, in batches, they pick them up for employment. The last batch, they were 100. And the 100 of them have been picked. And they are currently working and they are getting paid. I think another thing to do is that we need to also hold not just the president and the governor not just to hold them responsible only. We should also hold our representatives at the senatorial district, House of Rep, local government chairman, supervisors, councillors. We should hold them responsible too. We should hold them accountable because when they increase their salaries, they expect that they should do more for the community because they are living right there. It's their immediate community, their immediate environment. They should be able to understand the needs of their people at that level and be able to cater for it, be show concern to it. And that is why in Ikorodu, we have our people who are so concerned about it and they are putting in their very best for it. You can ask for free, anybody. You can ask from your from Ikorodu people and you can ask from Lagos East Central District people too.
Thank you very much,
So that is why we need to hold our people accountable, and not only the president and governor.
All right. Well, we are gradually trying to wrap up the show. So on the final thought, as we prepare to wrap up, the conversation here is supposed to be around the call for electoral reforms. Now, what do we need to do to call for the electoral reform? We've learned our lesson, or rather, we are still learning our lesson. Speaking about electoral reforms, what do we do better?
Okay. Thank you very much. I must indeed confess that this is actually one of the best interviews I've had so far.
Oh,
and best online engagement. Yes,
thank you very
honestly,
much.
because it was engaging. It was we were able to share thoughts. We were able to dialogue. We were able to discuss happenings, and this is what we should do, just like we are doing now. I'm sure that a lot of people are also getting to learn from what we're discussing, learn from what we are saying. So I think for the electoral reform, we should go back to our drawing board. We have to go back to our drawing board. let's look at what is wrong that we need to right. Because coming after elections, coming after we've voted someone in, and then coming afterwards to say, no, this shouldn't be done. No. We need to lend our voices out there. We need to lend our voices, because a lot of people, we are more of just say it and then that's all. No, we need to lend our voice to the necessary quarter. There are newspapers, there are TV stations, there are radio stations. I tell people, you don't need to be aggressive to let your voice be heard, to make your voice echo in someone's ear. Strategically, let us go back to the drawing board. Let us look at things that are not right. Let us right the wrongs. Let us because I tell people, as much as a lot of people think that fighting and all those things work better, I tell people that the pen is mightier than the sword. Except we don't understand the beauty of the pen.
My apologies to cut you there. Our time is fast spent already. We really have to go. Yes, I think my take home would be the pen is mightier than the sword. Thank you very much, Senator, for joining us. Pretty soon we hope to engage you on youth initiatives, what you're doing as a youth leader. Thank you very much for your time. God's beauty. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Let's do this again tomorrow. And to you, our viewers, thank you very much for joining us. And that's it on today's episode of Waste Breakfast. Do join us again tomorrow. Till then, stay sharp and do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.